Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today I'm going to be doing my NFL Week 7 power rankings as NFL Week 6 has ended with the Bills and the Jets. Bills win 23-20. That means NFL Week 7 has started, and we kick off with the Saints and the Broncos for Thursday Night Football. Of course, you have your third and final London game on Sunday morning. You have a normal Sunday afternoon and late and early afternoon games. You have your Sunday Night Football, which is this week is I can't remember if Sunday Night Football is this week. But then you have two Monday Night Footballs. You have the Chargers and the Cardinals, and then the Bucks and the Ravens. But forgive me, I can't remember who the Sunday Night Football is this week, which it will come to my brain eventually, and then I'll be really pissed. All right, let's get going. 32, going from 32-1. 32 for me is I don't know how any of you guys are thinking, but to me the Browns are the worst team in football. 1-5. To me it's the worst team in football, and so that's why I'm gonna put them at dead last. Deshaun Watson has been sacked more than any other quarterback in the NFL. That's been absolutely terrible. Deshaun's been playing bad football regardless of the offensive line issues, but I look at how bad this offensive line has been for him, and I've watched Deshaun a lot. Being a Texans fan, I will say this. Deshaun, without this terrible offensive line, he'd be playing better football. Now, it wouldn't be much better for Deshaun, but it would be better. It would be better for Deshaun Watson if this offensive line wasn't so terrible. Not much better, but if he had a good offensive line, I don't think they'd be 1-5 right now. I think you're looking at them being 2-4, 3-3, with how bad the offensive line has been. If they had a good offensive line or a great offensive line, Deshaun's playing better, and this team's like 2-4, 3-3 instead of being 1-5. Now Deshaun, I think, if he had a good offensive line, he'd still be playing bad, but he wouldn't be playing terrible, if you ask me. But to me, with the offensive line, Deshaun being sacked the most out of any quarterbacks in the NFL, him having a turnover issue, just so many issues for the Browns, I'm putting them dead last. 31, I got the Panthers, 1-5, preseed number 31. They're terrible as well. They lost to the Falcons 38-20. After that big win against the Raiders, it felt like, maybe Andy Dalton was leading them to... he was going to lead them back to where they needed to be. That has not happened. Andy Dalton is, 1-3 as the starter now? Maybe it's time to go back to Bryce Young. I mean, maybe he's motivated to be the starter again after getting benched. Maybe it's time to go to Bryce Young is what I'm saying. 30 got the Jaguars 1-5. Preseason number 29 lost to the Bears 35-16. It was a terrible loss for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence actually did not play bad. Not bad at all. Keep in mind, the Bears have a really good defense. The Bears, going into this matchup, have only given up more than 21 points once since week 10 of last year. So the Bears have a really good defense. So I know it's only 16 points on the board, but that's actually kind of impressive going up against this Bears defense. Trevor threw for 234 passing yards. He threw 2 touchdown passes. He did throw 1 pick. And he threw some beautiful passes to some of his wide receivers that were not caught. He threw 4 touchdown passes outside of the 2 touchdown passes he already threw that were dropped. 4 touchdown passes were dropped that were thrown by Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looked great against this Bears defense, but his wide receivers and his defense did not. You could maybe blame coaching. You could definitely blame this defense or the wide receivers, but Trevor should not be in blame for this loss because Trevor looked really good. The defense gave up 35 points to a rookie quarterback. And also, their wide receivers could not, get some catches in the end zone. Now, they did have a couple touchdown receptions, but there were way too many drops that ended up in field goals for the Jaguars. Or turnovers. So, yeah. At 29, I got the Patriots 1-5, preseason number 30, lost the Texans 41-21. If you're wondering why do I have the Patriots moving up, to me, honestly, the Patriots are the best 1-5 team. The Jaguars just got killed by 19. The Panthers lost by 18. The Browns have been absolutely horrendous. The Patriots on the other end had a rookie quarterback come in, absolutely looked insane, threw 3 touchdown passes. He did make some mistakes, but threw 3 touchdown passes, threw 240 passing yards, and a Patriots offense that has been terrible, not able to score the ball that much, and not very effective in the pass game. The only times the Patriots have really been successful scoring the football and moving the football has been through the run. So this is the first time this season the pass game was actually working because Drake May. So to me, I thought the Patriots looked good. I think the Patriots have looked the best out of all 1-5 teams, and the Patriots also have had a hard schedule. Meanwhile, the Jaguars, Panthers, and Browns, I feel like the Patriots are much better than those teams. But hey, at the same time, they're all 1-5 and all suck. So, but I think the Patriots are the best 1-5 team if you ask me. At 28, I got the Raiders. They're just horrendous. They already traded Devontae Adams 2-4. Preseason number 27 lost the Steelers 32-13. Not much else to say. 27 Rams 1-4. Preseason number 26. They had the bye week. I kind of wanted to keep them at the same spot, but it was a little bit hard for. I mean, I could have, but. Yeah, I mean, them being 1-4 kind of hurts them, especially being in the bye week. We'll see how they can do next week. 26, I got the Dolphins, 2-3, Perusi, number 28. They had the bye week. To another team on the bye. 25, I got the Titans, 1-4, Perusi, number 24. Lost to the Colts 2017. 24 got the Jets, 2-4, preseason number 21. Lost to the Bills, 23-20. Things might be heading in the right direction for the Jets. Trade for Devontae Adams. We'll see what happens there. 23, I got the Saints. I got the Saints at 23, 2-4, preseason number 20. Had probably the worst loss. Lost to the Bucks, 52-27. I think that's the most points that a team lost by this week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it's the most points that anybody scored on anyone this week. I mean, no one scored as many points as the Bucks did. Although I was wrong, the worst loss this week was the Cowboys, 47-9. But at the same time, the Bucks did score more points than the Lions, which doesn't mean much. It's only 5 points. But outside of the Cowboys loss, the second worst loss was the Saints, because they were terrible in the second half, absolutely terrible. But I got them going from 20 to 23. 22, I got the New York Giants, 2-4, piece number 23. Lost the Bengals 17-7. Another team I'm moving up because of a loss. I mean, I've actually been impressed with the Giants. Daniel Jones looked pretty good last week. Just being without his starting running back and his almost, you could say, star wide receiver for a rookie. So with being without your number one wide receiver, your number one running back, and that, be able to make some nice drives. Look, it's not all Daniel Jones' fault. The defense couldn't get a stop to get the football back, to try to tie the game. And look, something I will say also that really hurt the Giants in this game against the Bengals was their kicker missed 2 field goals in the fourth quarter. So can't put all the blame on Daniel Jones. He did make some good plays without his 2 number one options. With his wide receiver and his running back. And he's still able to find some chemistry with guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. So I was really impressed with Daniel Jones having a good game. And look, the Giants have had a hard schedule this season. If you look at their losses, I mean, they kicked off the season, they lost to the 5-0 Vikings. They've lost to the. This week. They lost to the Bengals, who, even though they're 2-4, that's not a normal 2-4 team. I know the Cowboys have been iffy this year, but they lost the Cowboys. Even though the Cowboys sometimes are bad, the Cowboys also could be good. The Cowboys going up against a team like the Giants, they're going to play good football. But if the Cowboys are going up against more tougher teams like the Lions or the Ravens or teams like that, they're going to suck, because that's how bad that's how mid the Cowboys are. The Cowboys are a better team than the Giants, for sure. But when they go up against teams that are mid just like themselves, and they play the Giants or they play the Steelers or they play the Browns, they're playing good football. But then when you see them go up against teams like the Saints early on in the season, the Ravens, the Lions, we see them get their butts kicked. But so, yeah, I mean, they stayed close with the Cowboys. They lost to the Vikings. They just lost to the Bengals. They've had some close losses against good teams. They've also beat some solid teams this year as well. Beat the Seahawks. They beat the Browns. The Browns are terrible, but the one thing about the Browns is they still have a good defense. I mean, they still have a good defense. I mean, it's not impressive if you outplay the Browns offense, but if you outplay the Browns defense, that's pretty solid because the Browns still have a good defense, even though they're 1-5. It's mainly their offense that's hurting the Browns. So, yeah, I think the Giants have looked pretty solid early on. Especially these last couple of games for the Giants, being without Malik Neighbors, being without Devin Singletary, going 1-1 in these last two games without both of those guys, beating the Seahawks by 9 on the road, and then against the Bengals, a team that was motivated to get a win, being a 1-4, a team that could not start off with a 1-5 record. Competitive, close and competitive, 17-7. Daniel Jones did everything he could to keep the Giants in that game, and they might have won that game if the kicker doesn't miss 2 field goals. They really probably would have won the game if it wasn't for the 2 missed field goals. So, yeah. I've actually been impressed with the Giants and Daniel Jones. All right, 21, I got the team that beat the Giants, the Bengals, 2-4. Preseason number 25 beat the Giants 17-7. It was a good game. We'll see if they can keep it up against the Browns this week and go to 3-4. They're going in the right direction, though. 20 got the Cardinals, 2-4. Preseason number 16 lost to the Packers 34-13. This is another team with the Cardinals. Like, I've been impressed with the Cardinals as well. I mean, well, not really impressed, but I'm going to give them an excuse because they've been playing great teams. Like, if you look at their losses, they've lost to the Packers. They've lost to the Lions. They've lost all 4 of their losses are to teams that I would have in the top 10 of, or that are in my top 10 of the power rankings. I mean, they lost to the Bills. They lost to the Packers. They have lost to the Commanders, and they have lost to the Lions. Those are, spoiler alert, those are all teams that are in my top 10. And if you look at their 2 wins, they beat the Rams, beat the crap out of the Rams, and they beat the 49ers. So, the Cardinals, they're not playing too well against these good teams. Like the Bills, it was a close game. The Commanders, they got their butts kicked. Lions, it was actually kind of a close game. And then the Packers, they got their butts kicked. So it's kind of a mix. I mean, some of the teams that they're playing that are really good, they're keeping it close, like the Bills and the Bills and the Bills and the Lions, but then you got the Commanders and the Packers. They're getting blown out. But it's been a really tough schedule for the first 6 weeks of the season for the Cardinals, and I expected the Cardinals to be good this year, but I did not expect them to have a 2-4 record to start off the season. I had the Cardinals going 1-5 to start off the season, but then having more of a strong second half of the year. I thought that's where they were going to really, take off. I did not expect the Cardinals to start off 2-4 with this hard schedule at all. So, yeah. All right. So after the Cardinals, I got the Cowboys at 19, 3-3. Priest at number 9, lost to the Lions 47-9. It's terrible. The Cowboys are actually a solid team. I don't think they're fully terrible, but when they go up against great teams like the Ravens and the Lions, they suck. So the Cowboys are not a contender. The Cowboys are a team, if they could rank up some wins against some bad teams, stack up some wins against some bad teams, they could be a wild card team, but then they're a first round exit team. The Cowboys are not a contender. I think the Cowboys team last year was actually a contender with the team they had last year, but this team, they're a shell of themselves, and they are absolutely terrible when they go up against bad teams, and that's why I'm moving them down so far. At 18, I got the Colts. They're 3-3. Previously number 22. Beat the Titans 20-17. Good win. Without your starting quarterback against the Titans on the road. They weren't even the favorites in that game. Seahawks 17, 3-3. Previous number 15 lost to the 49ers 36-24. Seahawks have lost 3 games in a row after starting off 3-0. We'll see if they can bounce back this week. 16, I got the Broncos 3-3. Previous number 12. Lost to the Chargers 23-16. Tough loss for the Broncos, but I thought the Broncos actually had a solid second half. I mean, they started off. That game started off 23-0, and Broncos scored, I think it was 16 points in the fourth quarter. I'm excited to see what they can do against the Saints because I think the Broncos will get a win against the Saints. I mean, the Broncos won 3 games in a row, beating the Bucs, the Jets, and I believe it was the Raiders. So the Broncos have looked good this season. If you look at their losses, all against good teams, loss against the Steelers, loss against the Seahawks, this week against the Chargers, all good all those teams are mainly good defenses. So I'm excited to see what the Broncos can do against the Saints because, look, I didn't think the Broncos would be a 3-3 team at this point. I don't think anybody can convince me that they thought the Broncos would be 3-3 going into Week 7. At 15, I got the Chargers 3-2, preseason number 19. Good win against the Broncos, 23-16 on the road, going up against that great defense. Although it is a lot easier to beat the Broncos when Pat Surtain gets injured, so that was a big reason I think the Broncos lost this game. But still, a good win for the Chargers to bounce back after 2 straight losses and after the bye. 14, I got the 49ers. 3-3, previous number 17, beat the Seahawks 36-24. 13, I got the Eagles 3-2, previous number 14, beat the Browns 2016. I'm not going to move them up too much for beating the Browns, but I'll move them up one spot. 12, I got the Bears 4-2, previous number 18, beat the Jags 35-16. I'm pretty sure that's the highest jump I have for any team. Great win for the Bears, and it's back-to-back games, great games for Caleb Williams, and back-to-back great games for the team. They're on a 3-game winning streak. The first win for the Bears against the Rams, it was a solid win, but it wasn't a great performance. Caleb wasn't great. The defense was great, and the run game was pretty solid against the Rams defense. But as a whole team, they weren't great. But these last 2 games as a whole team, they have been great. Absolutely outstanding. So the Bears have looked really good. At 11, I got the Bucks. They're 4-2, preseason number 13. Beat the Saints 52-27. Great win for the Bucks. At 10, I got the Bills at 4-2. Preseason number 11. Beat the Jets 23-20. Good win on the road for Monday Night Football. At 9, I got the Steelers. Preseason number 10. Beat the Raiders 32-13. At 8, I got the Packers 4-2. Preseason number 8. Beat the Cardinals 34-13. So I got them at the same spot. Another team I got the same spot. 7, I got the Falcons 4-2. Preseason number 7. At 6, I got the Commanders 4-2. Preseason number 3. After losing to the Ravens 30-23. The only reason I'm moving them a little bit down is because you got teams like the Texans, the Lions, and the Ravens who all had great wins last week. And then you obviously got the undefeated Chiefs and Vikings. So Commanders at 6 after their 7-point loss. At 5, I got the Texans 4-1. Preseason number 5 beat the Patriots 41-21. As a Texans fan, I'm not moving my Texans up. This was the best game of the season for the Texans so far. But when the Lions and the Ravens get wins like they did, they have to jump the Texans, if you ask me. Last week I had the Lions at 6 and the Ravens at 4. So I got the Lions at 4. 4-1, preseason number 6 beat the Cowboys 47-9. I got the Ravens at 3, 4-2. Preseason number 4 beat the Commanders 30-23. So last week I had the Texans at 5, I had the Lions at 6, and I had the Ravens at 4. So with the Commanders going down to 6, I got the Ravens sliding into 3. I got the Lions at 4, jumping my Texans, and the Texans staying at 5. I think you gotta move the Lions and the Ravens got to be in front of my Texans with the way they've been playing recently. Both teams on fire. At 2, I got the Chiefs 5-0. Preseason number 2. They had the bye week. Number 1. Look, I like the Chiefs. I think they're a great football team, but I think the best team in football so far this season has been the Minnesota Vikings by far. They've had a harder schedule than the Chiefs, and I think they've played better football. Let me know your thoughts on my power rankings in the comment section, and peace out.